Hey everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to another Civilization 6 video. Today we are going to be reacting to Portugal. We just got the first look video for, and it looks pretty interesting in my opinion. It explores some areas of the game and tries some things which other civilizations haven't done too much, and overall it's looking quite good. So we're going to break down all the unique bits to the Civ in this video, and we will start with the leader. So Zhuo the Third, or Zhao the Third as I've been pronouncing it, I am probably wrong, they're probably right, but his unique bonus is Porto do Cerco, and what this means is essentially three things. So firstly, all units receive +1 sight. Secondly, +1 trade route capacity when a civilization is met. And finally, open borders with all city-states. So just to react to what this means, the first thing I'd say is the +1 sight's really nice actually for all units. +1 sight tends to be very useful when you're trying to siege cities out with siege units. So if you end up doing some of that with Portugal, that bonus sight could actually prove quite useful. The second bit, the +1 trade route capacity when a civilization is met, is a nice bonus. Now what this does is it sets the tone for the kind of civ that Portugal is in Civ 6. Portugal's very much a maritime trading civ, as we'll see as we go through the rest of the bonuses. And having that bonus trade route from the start will obviously allow you to generate gold with international trade routes, or if you want to use some internal trade routes, maybe you'll still use some of them with Portugal. Obviously, we all know how good internal trade routes can be, especially early on in the game. One thing I sort of wanted to mention with this +1 trade route capacity when meeting a new civ is that you're likely to do this early on in the game. It's likely to be in the first era or first few eras at least, and that could limit how you use these trade routes a bit, because as we'll see a little bit later on, you can only have international trade routes with cities on the coast. Now, if you're meeting civilizations but they've not founded really cities on the coast early on in the game, you're not going to be able to make the most of this at first. But overall, another trade route capacity is very good, and obviously the more civs you have in your game, the more free trade routes you are going to have. The final part, the open borders with all city-states, will make more sense later on, but obviously it's a nice obviously it's a nice bonus, and as I said, we'll return to this in a little while. So moving on, Portugal's unique bonus is Casa da India. Now what this means is again split into a number of things. So firstly, as I've touched on a moment ago, international trade routes can only reach cities on the coast or with a harbour. So what that means is that you can only send international trade routes to cities on a coast or with a harbour, not cities that are landlocked. So if a city does not have a harbour or is on the coast, you cannot send a trade route there. I know it sounds kind of silly saying it again and again, but it's important to know that. And as I mentioned a second ago, what that's going to mean is when you get those early trade routes, you're really going to want your neighbours and other civilizations across the map to have cities on the coast. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit useless to you. However, if your international partners do have cities on the coast, that's going to be very good news, because what that means is then you can get 50% plus 50% towards all yields, which is a big bonus for yield. It's going to allow you to improve in so many different areas, especially gold. So producing gold as Portugal is going to be pretty easy, and you should have a lot of it as long as your international partners have coastal cities. And the final thing to mention here is that trader units have plus 50% range over water, and they can also embark as soon as they are unlocked. So the embarking is kind of important. As you can see, Portugal is a maritime civ, and if you can get your trade routes with their extra range and also extra bonuses to international cities on the coast, you're going to be making a lot and generating a lot of different yields from your trade routes. So Portugal's unique improvement or unique building is the navigation school, and what this is a replacement for the university building. Now I have quite a bit to say on this, so I'll try and get through it all. So let's break down its bonuses individually. So it's a building unique to Portugal. It gives plus 25% production towards naval units in the city, and it also gives +1 signs for every 2 coast or lake tiles in the city, and +1 Great Admiral points as a base. Now that's a lot. So individually, plus 25% production towards naval units in the city. That is going to be key, because a lot of what you're going to do as Portugal involves the maritime industry. It's going to involve ships and trade routes. So you really are going to want to have quite a few ships to protect your trade routes, and this is going to be quite a big bonus towards production in building them, and that's going to be very useful, obviously. The second part of this, for me, links into the kind of direction I'm probably going to play Portugal, at least when I first play them, and that is the +1 science for every 2 coast or lake tiles in this city. If you are playing on the right type of map with lots of sea, then you're going to be able to make an awful lot of this bonus. If you have, I think on the video it showed like the science production of a city going up by sort of at least something like 6 per turn, something like that, just by having a ton of coastal tiles or lake tiles in a city. So I'm going to be wanting to play Portugal towards a science victory, in my opinion. The navigation school, just to get all of these bonuses, is a university replacement, so you're going to have to build them campuses up anyway, so I do think that this is aiming Portugal slightly towards towards that science victory. But overall, I like those two. And finally, the Great Admiral point, that's going to be good. I mean, you're a naval civ as Portugal, you need Great Admiral, so that's going to be a nice bonus as well. But overall, the navigation school, I'm quite positive about. I think it gives Portugal a bit of a direction to go towards a victory, as I said, with the science, so that's really good. And overall, it's shaping up to be quite a strong civ. So Portugal's unique unit is the same as it was in Civ 5, and that is the now Naval Unit. It's spelled NAU. So what this unit does is it is a replacement for the Caravel. It also has the same melee strength as the Caravel, so it's very similar in strength. But its real uniqueness comes in the fact it gets a free promotion, which allows you, I mean, one free promotion off the bat is really good, and it also has less maintenance. The less maintenance is going to be important because it's going to allow you to hold a bigger navy without it costing you too much money. Obviously, Portugal's going to have quite a bit of money, but still, less maintenance is good. It's going to let you have more ships, protect your trade routes better, etc, etc. But the now's real bonus comes in the fact that it has 2 build charges. Now, what these build charges do is they allow the nows to build the Feitoria. Now, the Feitoria is a unique building to Portugal and unique to that unit, that single unit in the game, but they do have some pretty nice bonuses. They also have some pretty unique placement requirements, but we'll talk about them in a second. So let's break down the bonuses. So they provide +4 gold and +1 production. Off the bat, that's pretty nice. The +4 gold and production, extra production, you will never turn that down. And if you build a lot of them, obviously that'll stack and give your empire especially a nice bonus of gold. And the other kind of big bonus to this as well is that it means that trade routes sent to this city from Portugal gain +4 gold and a further +1 production. Now, let's just mention here that, obviously, as we've discussed earlier, Portugal already gets 50% towards all yield, plus 50% towards all yields from trade routes, so this is going to make them trade routes even stronger, so Portugal's going to have some very, very strong trade routes. This unique building I like because it explores something I think Civ's not explored that much before, putting buildings in enemy territory, having units build the buildings. Yes, there's been a bit of that with other civilizations in the past, but this is sort of a bit of a new take on it, so I like that. Now, the one sort of drawback with this building, well, not a drawback, the one kind of more difficult part of this is that it can only be built adjacent to luxury or bonus resources in territory belonging to other civilizations or city-states that you have open borders with. And as I mentioned earlier, you should have open borders with every single city-state, seeing as that's another part of Portugal's bonus, which I said I would come back to, and here we are. And it must also be built on a coast or lake tile adjacent to land and not adjacent to another one of them, so you can't build them next to each other. Now, these placement requirements are a little bit fiddly, and obviously when you're playing the game, I highly recommend loading up the bonus screen when you first play as Portugal, just to remind yourselves about them. But you could probably work around them. Any kind of decent Civ player, even me, right? Even I plan out my cities in Civ 6 normally, so planning these out shouldn't be too tough. Just take a bit of time, discover as much land as you possibly can, and plot them right. So do make the most of them. They're very powerful. Just make sure you're planning them right so you can get as many as possible around other civilizations' territory. Okay, so that's just some thoughts on the new Portugal Civ coming to Civilization 6. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited to play it, but let me know what do you think down in the comments. What do you make of its bonuses, and what do you make of this video? Thank you so much for watching this video today. To see another one of our Civ 6 videos, then check out the video in the box on screen right now. Also, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Civ 6 content. I've really enjoyed the new Frontiers Pass and covering it, so thank you for watching. My name is Alex, and I will see you in another video soon.